in Overwatch League off where he kind of pulled out from all the teams last minute, but definitely a player that you want to watch out for because he's a very, very solid tank.
Oh, and Glister. I forgot about Glister, guys. Also a new addition to the Gen.G esports team. How could I forget about Glister? But he is also joining them. MVP, Gen.G esports, getting ready to roll out here. First map, Oasis, Control. Both teams looking to run. Actually, not quite yet. We don't know, but it's going to more likely be a 3-3 setup with Wines on both sides.
I believe nothing about MVP here. I think they're just playing fast and loose with the stream delay going, we're not going to take any chances. We'll wait until the last second to do what everyone expects. 3-3.
Both teams rolling out here to the first mid. Zarya bubble so important. A lot of early damage on the So What.
That was really good damage coming in here from Zen for Gen.G. And now, you take a look at that. Oberon going to fall early, and even with the early damage, Gen.G now in a rough spot. You lose your Ryan early, gets isolated, and MVP just going to casually move forward.
That was a good isolation there, picking up Okid Lake. Now MVP picking up here the first point. Rookie, relatively high charge, 60%. Now, Valentine, he is at 71% to this rally here. So this is the most important move here for Team MVP. They're going to have the rally early to engage, catch Gen.G on this next entry.
MVP holding firm right now, just waiting to engage.
Dancy solo!
Dancy waiting, and oh, MVP just take the opportunity. They isolate him. They don't let him go back to the rest of his team. So what? They knocked to the right there. Doesn't matter. Just way more aggression coming out from MVP.
A lot of early damage, very strong aggression from MVP. Catching Dancy very, very early on the rotation. And now MVP holding back on point. They didn't have to use the rally, by the way. Valentine's still holding on to that. Getting close to the grab Glister, though, a little bit ahead.
MVP gonna hold back here. So what? Earth Shatter ready, and MVP again. Early
tried
Earth
to
Shatter.
set up the Boop Shatter, but did not get it off.
Doesn't get what he's looking for. Instead, gonna get a whole face full of grab instead. But the fall through not really there for Gen.G.
Didn't have Diva Bomb.
No, not in the least. And now, okay, Earth Shatter coming in to knock down 3. Can they go in and get the fall through? They do. Valentine gonna fall here, but MVP really, really low. Able to barrier just in the nick of time. Gen.G looking to fall through. So what? Put into the corner, and now not going to be able to stand any longer.
And health pools are much more in favor of Gen.G. Oberon hitting a really great early shatter there and denying the Boop Shatter from Froppy. So what?
Works out for Gen.G. Going to get their first take of the map, but now in a bit of a hole. 71% to MVP. MVP has time to build themselves back into a good situation.
Though Gen.G, they still holding on to their combo. They have another grab. They have a Diva Bomb. They didn't even use another Diva Bomb. This is their first one, but built another grab Glister. Building is wickedly fast. Gen.G holding the point. They're going to be looking for the engage.
Well, there's a grab, and now you look to Wuyao. Where is the bomb coming out? No, they don't need to use it.
All because they recognize there are no support ults up for Team MVP.
Yeah, they just go in, they use the grab, and just simply roll into them. So smart awareness there not to use the combo.
Very smart. And now Gen.G holding on to their Diva Bomb. They have another Shatter as well for Oberon, so they can look for this next engage. Finn coming up on that trance, but if you engage with Diva Bomb, split them, try to isolate a target and set up your Shatter, trance doesn't have a lot of value.
Although the flip side here, Glister already at 45%, so you know, the question is, do you wait right now?
I don't think you wait right now.
I think right now it's wide open enough that you might go for the Diva Bomb. But Gen.G, they're waiting a lot of time. They're going to lose a lot of Reinhardt shield here. Now they're moving forward. They thought they might be able to poke someone down. Not quite yet. Transcendence forced out from MVP. Shatter going to be connecting. Takes down 2. And now they get the fall through right after it. They're looking for it. So what? Gets a counter charge on the Wakid, and MVP fighting their way back into this.
However, Jasper team back, and then the grab coming up from Glister, getting another 2. Wuyao picking up Rookie Valentine down. The beat late from Froppy. Gen.G, I doubt they hold this fuse. He's so close to the beat, but he gets a boop.
Oh,
getting Jasper into the bomb was so huge for Fuse.
Really nice boop towards the very end. And I'd say this for the beat from Froppy, it doesn't bother me. It did keep So What alive, and they still had a chance to win that. I don't think it was the worst.
And now we're coming to last fight territory here for MVP. They have to move in. They have grab. They have combo coming up. Fuse, only ult up for Gen.G. The beat, if I'm Gen.G, I have to make a choice. Do I commit to this fight, try to live, or I just back out?
Well, they get Finn early. They commit, and now here comes a grab bomb off the other side. Jasper gonna let the self-destruct over the top. Gets Glister early on, but that's just an equalizer now for MVP. They're still working against themselves here. Earth Shatter, ready, Valentine picks up 2 on the flip side. We're looking at So What, but Valentine able to do a lot, picks up 3. And this is looking very good for MVP. They're able to retake. The problem is that Gen.G still is going to get one more fight.
And that's just losing that Using that Brigida, that frontline presence, that sustain on the point just allows Valentine to be alive. He doesn't have to feel that extra Brigida pressure from the mirror. Dance going to be very close to the trans.
Now MVP, they look to so what here? To get a sneaky shatter, to find a way to land this, to give themselves the edge here in this fight. It is going to be overtime. Gen.G moving forward, overtime, now in progress. So what? Dropping the shatter, gets a whole lot of nothing.
Forces the trance early though.
It gets the early transcendence, but no one knocked down. The shatter comes in the other way. Oberon getting a lot more. You see Gen.G moving in, but they can't get anything off of it.
Glister, he has the grab. He's looking for it. Rookie's got a grab as well.
Well, we're going to see both Bash Glitch are both knocking down, grab, lobbed in, and here comes MVP, getting the most of it on the other side. They pick off 3, and they're going to take the round. They fight it back.
Much better grab from Rookie there. There wasn't the follow-up for Gen.G. They were caught in that grab. Well done, I say, from MVP, because they looked pretty grim for them. Gen.G, they were able to recap that point in that second fight. They were able to hold it for a very long time, but MVP find it back.
Very, very close. Round 1 there. Both teams with good moments. Now, though, we move over to the Garden stage, and again, this is something where you can see change-ups. And so what? Going to something that has been historically even more as bread and butter, going to be able to go over here to Winston.
I mean, Winston gives you a lot of value on this point. You can jump on and off the high ground very easily, get a lot of cleave damage, look for aggressive engage. Oberon staying on this Rhine. Oberon and Glister have been looking very strong so far.
It's been very good for Gen.G in that. Oberon has been impressive. Most shatters being good shatters, where even if there's not the immediate fall through, just still finding opportunities to knock a lot of people to the ground. But now we look to MVP. So what? Playing the Winston game here. How much cleave damage can you get early on? But Valentine was going in a little bit aggro. They lose him early on, and already MVP, nothing they can do. It's too many people down too early. And even with Dance falling early, this should be Gen.G's fight.
Should be Gen.G fight. The late D-Mech coming out with the Jasper. It's going to be a cleanup. Only losing Dance. Gen.G now going to hold close. Over on 73% to the shatter. So what? Making the swap now. Now that they don't hold the first point, they didn't win that first fight. They would rather play Ryan v Ryan in the matchup than attempt to look for those engages, play those flank, play those high ground angles.
Swap does come at a cost, though. They are going to be even further behind in terms of the ult economy game here. This probably is not going to be their absolute best fight. A lot of damage going on the Jasper early on. Gen.G just holding back. Rally in waiting. Now they use it. They're going to move in. They sense a little bit of weakness in the water. They're really focused on so what? Shield, Rind, doesn't matter. Anything ahead. Early shatter coming from Oberon and interrupted and does not get anyone. Meanwhile, MVP going back over, and they're able to make it work, even at a disadvantage.
Oberon chasing so deep. He saw the shield was broken for so what, but you had to be much quicker on that follow-up. If he wanted to engage on the shield, set up that shatter from the break of the Reinhardt barrier, he needed to be sped in there. His team needed to be with him, but instead it gets blocked, he gets bashed, and he gets cleaned up, and that is just the opening MVP needs to get Gen.G off the point.
So MVP getting back in, and we'll see if they're able to make up some lost time here. Rookie holding on to the grab, and MVP has to decide, do they want to hold far up here, or do they want to wait back in the point?
I mean, right now it's whoever engages first right now is MVP, because both teams with the combo, no support ults up for MVP.
Well, you got to look to the Zardes here. Grab can connect here from Rookie. Jasper throwing out the self-destruct. What's it going to get? Finn got one. The self-destruct got little. The self-destruct for Gen.G, though, going to get more. Froppy down. And Gen.G, a better combo setup, resulting in a team fight win.
It's going to be that. Gen.G cleaning up the point. Combos exchanged. However, Finn now going to be coming up with the trances. This is the bunny hop of support ult. We talked about it a lot. MVP. Duo support ults coming in. So Oberon's going to be a real key here for Gen.G in this next fight, because he's the only other ult up for them, and to mitigate some of the pressure that can come up from some double support ults.
Oberon looking pretty aggressive here, playing next to the wall. This is where sometimes you can get a free shatter as Ryan. So what, though? Really knows what's up. Immediately looks towards him, says, no, we're not going to let that happen. Oberon, though, looking to rotate. He's going to make a move to the left to the right here. And no, just stays still, drops the shatter, doesn't get much of anything, but does force out the Transcendence. So Transcendence in for MVP. They're moving forward. Glister in hot damage, ends up falling, can't get the grab out, but it's 5-on-5. Finn is chased down by Wuyal while it's going on. Rookie now rotating to the back, looking for the tank pressure. Oberon going to fall. Both teams down around, self-destruct up, not going to get anything. And it's very back and forth between the two teams right now.
However, Rookie, he's about to have this grab. Glister, he's not there just yet. Is he going to commit it? Very risky commit here, because there's so much sustain still up for Gen.G. It's the last fight.
The thing is, Gen.G was able to recap during all of that. Rookie able to get the pick off on Wakid. It's MVP fighting to get back in. They're in overtime. They can't hold back for any reason. And Gen.G now starting to get a bit of a man advantage on the point. They're looking for Rookie. They're going to finish him off. Time now ticking down, and it's just pure desperation for MVP right now as Gen.G continues with cleanup after cleanup.
And that's just going to be Gen.G cleanup on the point, like you said. Oberon's back. Oberon being very aggressive, a real playmaker so far on the Rhine. Well played from Gen.G though. They mitigated those double support ults. They made sure to draw out the fight, and they were able to recap while that fight was happening on the point like you talked about. And that was really the huge pressure point for MVP.
So now we move into the third and final stage here. It's going to be City Center, and again, definitely a map that you can play some different
definitely
compositions
a map you can play.
Yeah. Well, I think all maps are maps you can play.
Play.
It just cut me off mid-set. The map you can play. It's like, no. But this is where you can see a bit of difference coming out for the teams. And for Gen.G, is this a great debate?
Am I seeing this with my eyeballs?
Yeah, you are. It is not a 3-3. It is going to be...
This is the 4-2.
Yeah, and this
Quad
is...
DPS.
This is going to be over real quick one way or another. This is not a comp that can stand point.
This first fight is so important for Gen.G. You have to win the first fight. Otherwise, you swap.
Well, right now we're looking at Doomfist. That Doomfist we thought was extinct. Not quite as much, occasionally getting some play. Glister just on the outskirts of the Tracer, applying pressure.
They're playing the flanks here as EP. They're trying to mitigate as much spam as possible and look for an engage. But there's really no tanks. They have to find either the Pharaoh Mercy or maybe even Dance.
Well, the problem is that MVP now, they have a lot of room to work with DPS here. It's hard for the 3-3, they'll rotate around and get them in already. They're going to get the DMAC. It's too much poke damage from all sides, and with one down. All right, well, Gen.G does dive in. They lose Oberon immediately. Now it's back to 5-5. Wuyao isolating the Zen from behind. Wakid in the air. Barrage already loaded up. And now does he use it just to finish this out to get progress? In the C Center, it's difficult to remove people.
I don't necessarily think it's worth it because MVP, when they're down these players already, and they've used so many of their resources, they're going to lose the slow game anyways, and the point hasn't been capped. No reason to use Barrage.
And they're just grinding it out where, yeah, it's a little bit slower, but they get to maintain resources. Oberon getting dunked on again in the middle of it, but just one player for Gen.G. Everyone else still totally fine, and they will get first cap.
Oberon's sort of the sacrificial lamb in this comp, where he sets up the engages, and he's the one person that can actually be easily collapsed upon for Gen.G, because the Doomfist, once you use those cooldowns, you're sort of stuck in. But now the EMP up for Wuyao, along with the Barrage, I wouldn't be surprised to see them combined here.
Glister on the outskirts again, just poking for weakness here on Tracer. Likely not going to be going in until something bigger happens.
Very early rally
pressure
as well.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we look to Wuyao, the one who's likely to be the fight winner, holding on to the EMP. And the goal here, he needs to get a good amount of people in it. Has to wait. He's biding his time. But the problem for MVP is chasing all these people down, even to get point presence so hard.
He's looking for Froppy. He wants to know where Froppy's at.
Well, he's found Froppy. Froppy was hiding here to the back, and
they
lose the point.
Cap.
That is a big mistake. I know that they can't fight straight up, but someone had to be on the point. Wuyao, though, gonna go in. Finally says he's gonna drop the MP, sets up the Barrage, and it's enough. It's 3 pickoffs here for Gen.G, and now it's about cleaning up the scraps.
That is, they do have both support up still alive for MVP, so they can stay in here for a little bit, for a while longer, and they decide to drop the grab. Rookie actually gonna allow them to pick up 2, but this is it. Just Froppy now. They're getting the res on the Glister as well. Gen.G going to be recapping, but giving up so much cap time, though, because of them allowing MVP to flip the point. But the EMP Barrage coming out, winning at the end.
And bear in mind, of course, it's not just a cap time MVP has. That's cap time that they could have had, so it wildly flips where the game could be.
However, now, because MVP uses a portal, so they're actually going to be making swaps of their own, going to a standard 2-2 with the Moira. Moira a little bit tougher to be jumped upon by the quad DPS as opposed to a Zen. Finn has that coalescence. MVP entering here from the flanks once again.
Glister again just kind of playing this perimeter Tracer where not diving in, just constantly being a threat. Meanwhile, Oberon could be waiting to move on and finds Froppy. Able to take him out just with the left clicks on the backhand side. And now, once you get a few pickoffs, this is where Glister gets to go in. This is where Tracer likes to live because you're not having all the different threats from when the 3-3 is complete.
Finn now dropping that coalescence. And honestly, the coalescence as Moira makes you an even easier target when this quad DPS is currently available, because you can't shift away, you don't have as much self-sustain. And now Gen.G still just doing some poke from Glister. And Oberon is also, because of the swap, made a lot more effective because he's no longer going to be guaranteed to die when he goes in with those cooldowns.
So now, final opportunity here for MVP that has had everything they can deal with and more with this heavy DPS setup. Wakid holding up in the sky. Barrage, ready. Waiting for the opportunity. EMP there and immediately drops on the D.Va. Smart target selection. Goes for the D.Va before she get back into it. Gets the DMAC. And Gen.G off this dynamic 4 DPS setup. They're going to take the first map here away from MVP.
Well, the fight is still breaking down, but it's just delay. MVP coming back. Fuse is down, but it's just cleanup. So many DPS on the point for Gen.G, and that's going to be it. Gen.G playing a very interesting setup here. The quad DPS here on Oasis, and they really allowed the space, the open ground of Oasis for that point.
Yeah,
to just run away from Goats, not give the 3-3 any setup, anything to collapse on. Only Oberon was the only true target they could find, and that was after he committed.
And I think there's very unique terrain that makes that possible uniquely in City Center, is that it's one of the few points in the game where it's not just a big square in the ground where you can easily rotate around and grab everything, right? DPS characters have room to hide. It's actually really obnoxious on City Center to go around and remove every single last person from the point. So that means that DPS get a lot more time to actually contest the point without putting themselves at a huge risk. And I think it's a unique map that allows you to get away with doing something like a 4 DPS setup and make it work.
And with the skybox being so high as well, the Pharah Mercy gives you a lot more valuable airtime. You can run away. So really well played. And also they did well. The thing with quad DPS is not only can you not lose anyone early, you simply can't, but you have to be using those combos, especially the EMP and the Barrage, extremely effectively, which they did. They guaranteed that the EMP Barrage always got at least 1 to 2 picks.
Yeah.
Which means as soon as you remove those characters from the 3-3, their effectiveness is severely limited, especially the D.Va, because then you can't even fight the Pharah Mercy anymore.
Oh, that was a Pharah's dream there, where it's just like every Pharah's nightmare is the D.Va coming up and using Defense Matrix to make you kill yourself as you barrage. It's a tale as old as time.
And MVP making those swaps a little bit late in the round, but just not able to make anything of it.
Well, guys, we saw some quad DPS. It's not all 3-3 down here in Korea. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, map 2, and right at you. And we are back here after map 1, where it has been a very interesting time so far, where sometimes you wonder, is like, can quad DPS live? And the answer is yes. It's not a nightmare. It's not your average ladder game. It is competitive Overwatch, and it worked out pretty well just now in City Center.
Conditions may vary. You know, I mean, it really there's some terms and conditions there because A, you have to be in Korean Contenders, B, you have to be on Oasis City Center, and C, you have to be good at that composition. So all of those really worked out in your favor. So before anyone's like, quad DPS, you're going to have to, you know, make sure you meet all those requirements.
Sorry, my small brain only heard going into that. I should tell everyone, Lyra, to go quad DPS. It is Contenders approved.
It is Korean Contenders approved, which is, you know, that is...
Exactly.
It really is very important, but a really good showing from Gen.G.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a great, that was a great swaps for them. They made it work. They made the composition work. MVP space didn't know how to respond to it. Their swaps came too late on City Center, and they were able to put up a great fight on 3-3 as well. So they showed that diversity on that first control map. It wasn't them trying to force a composition out of the meta. They had swaps and could still play the standard.
What you're saying here, this is the difference between pulling a Chengdu and not pulling a Chengdu. Is that you still have the ability to run a 3-3. It just sometimes.
And it's very important to have, I mean, that's really good to have that toolkit in your arsenal. If you're actually able to swap, be diverse, and play comps that are different, but also still be very good on the standard, on the meta, on the map where you pretty much can't swap away from it. That's probably for the best.
Makes sense to me. And of course, second map here of the day, it is going to be Eichenwald, where we head into, well, Eichenwald. It's nice. We haven't seen it in a while. At least me and you personally in games we've casted.
We haven't seen Eichenwald too much. We did technically just see it in the last series we casted.
I'm speaking of the day as a whole.
Yeah,
as a whole. Historically.
Historically, we have not seen a lot of Eichenwald. But you are right. You are right. We have not. We really haven't. It's a map that's been sorely missed. And also, I think has improved a lot over time with the changes made to it, where it's become much better. Much better. I still remember the terrible choke that was the second to third push before they opened up the flanks and allowed the door to be gone.
You mean when the castle functioned as a castle and now it's just like, why does it even exist?
It was an actual just impenetrable fortress.
Yeah, castles are great. Bring back castles.
Bring back castles.
Yeah.
Bring it back. But now, moving into your Eichenwald, both teams just getting in. And Gen.G, I mean, so far, with that diverse showing they can also, most importantly, play the 3-3, they should feel very comfortable on Eichenwald, where there's a lot of ability to swap.
And that's exactly what I was thinking here, where you might not see it as much on point A, but you can see it on point A. And also, it's something you look towards on point B in particular, where 3-3 has issues at times on point B, where you don't quite have as much room to maneuver, and you can get outmaneuvered by a more mobile setup. Now, though, this is going to be Gen.G here on the defense first, and I don't think this this is going to be swapped.
More likely not, just doing a little bit of emoting.
It's important. Someone bought the old access pass.
They did.
Do you still get that for the command center this year, or no? Was that a pure 2018 benefit?
Honestly, I don't know.
How do you not? How can we sell out? We don't know. I think you can still get it with tokens, so there's still at least that. But now we're getting into it. It's going to be MVP here on the attack, 3-3. Gen.G also 3-3. But it will be in
Overrun, a little late.
Okay.
Getting a pause. Getting a quick pause here. So clearly there was definitely some issue moving on there with Overrun, with them, because they just weren't able to. Here, I'll help you move the chair.
I'm in the corner, man. I need help.
We had to move ZP's chair.
You see, right now we put on this facade of everything being absolutely grand. You see, like, the green screen behind us. Everything's somewhat well lit. I don't think I look like a vampire today like I did the other day. You know, small improvements.
I'm not taking your life energy anymore like I was in the last stream.
Yeah, that was a common thing. Well, I think it's also because you were hitting the gym since the last Contender season, so it's like you show up, people are calling you a Giga Chad and all these other compliments, so to speak, and then I'm sitting here looking like I'm on death's door, and they're just like, what has gone on here? Like,
they've been stealing ZP's life energy to make myself
apparently.
Stronger.
Yeah.
Been growing in size.
Well,
you can't tell. That's why I'm 8 feet tall now.
Yeah, 8 feet tall. There you go.
ZP's on stilts. You can't see it.
You never knew that. I'm sitting on 2 boxes right now, standing. But either way, we're getting back in game. We don't have to talk about life force draining anymore, but we can talk about his Gen.G here attempting to defend, but they're down to Brigida early, and MVP.
However, they still hold point. Pretty solid charge from Overrun, but this is going to be it. Too many people down for Gen.G now. MVP making a great push. How much of that could be of Overrun coming late? More likely that technical issue, I think, we see that late rollout.
Yeah, and that obviously was unplanned, right? When your Reinhardt is at the second door, right as the other team is rolling in, something terrible has happened, and obviously the pause, something technical went on. So MVP perhaps picking up a bit of a freebie
But
there.
the crazy part is Oberon's at 90% shatter, while someone's only at 30.
Well, better late than never when it comes to that. Still found a little bit of progress.
So the ult are relatively equalized for this next fight. ZP, they're holding close to the choke. Gen.G, they're going to take this fight very aggressively, which they should try to get some of the ults out for MVP.
Well, I think the thing is, too, they might not expect Oberon having the shatter here this early. He's under a bit of pressure. Good shielding off both ways. Drops a shatter right in the So What shield, getting a whole lot of nothing. Meanwhile, grab coming up the other way. Gen.G nice and grouped up here for MVP. MVP unable to capitalize, though. Transcendence from Dance going to keep everyone alive. Here comes self-destruct up the other for MVP. Looking for it. Gets on 2. And it's going to be MVP piercing in on the second point.
Not just 2, getting 3 as well. D-Meching. Wuyall. So, huge bomb from Jasper, actually, opening up the fight there. Grabs are traded, but Wuyall will be coming back. Have that Diva Bomb to allow Gen.G to get out through the doors if necessary. A big space creator tool. MVP just moving the cart forward, holding very aggressively.
And MVP now, what they'd love here is for So What to get the shatter of his dreams. He's under heavy pressure. Bubble going to come up, give him a little bit of space.
Look at the shield presence, though. So What? No barrier.
Yeah, I mean, this is where Reinhardt's under pressure. Right? It's where they look for a forced shatter and oftentimes don't get what they want. So What? We'll see if he can find that good shatter here. Barrier's used by MVP. They go for it, drops a shatter, and again, nothing much being gotten. Just very ambitious shatters here.
Yeah, now, cart present. Cart hasn't been moving very forward. Fuse about to have beat. Another grab up for Glister. There's the grab. No trance up just yet for Finn.
Both teams still okay. MVP going in there, able to get Fuse right before it fails. And now they go in. The boop off, not even really necessary, but absolutely stylish. MVP gonna go through and break down this castle door.
Really huge graviton by Rookie, by the way. He keeps Gen.G from following up on the grab, despite Finn not having trance just yet. They would have gone down if Overrun was allowed to swing, if we have been allowed to fly into there. So really good grab from Rookie, building up another one, already 50%.
MVP setting a lightning fast time here. Gen.G, do they have the tools needed to at least reverse momentum a bit?
I mean, they have triple support.
Yeah.
So they're in a pretty good spot right now. Rookie still doesn't have grabs, so they should be looking to be aggressive, potentially. Try to bully these tanks because they don't have a lot of value right now.
Well, they open up here at the rally. Both teams rally even. Highly early Transcendence here for Gen.G, but not a lot of early damage on the MVP. They get the Transcendence out, so now you have to look to the Bear. It's up to Fuse. Where Fuse is, dropping the Shatter coming from So What, only knocking down 1. Barrier there to protect, but as the Bear goes out, the grab comes in from MVP. MVP moving over, they get Wakid early. Now the support ults for the defense gone, and this is looking really good for MVP. They're looking to focus fire. The Barrier from Froppy connecting just in the nick of time, and MVP gets annihilated by Wuyall. Wuyall just crushing them. What a hero play from Gen.G.
Getting 4, Wuyall getting 5, Wuyall.
Oh,
and that is the barrier pressure once again, so important there. Not only was that bomb so well placed, but So What's barrier was incredibly low in that fight. It was very, very low. He had to put up for 60. He just, he had no other option, and it broke. And that's going to be the huge bomb for Wuyall.
Ooh, man, just when you think the fight is going your way, MVP had it just about wrapped up, and man, Wuyall just takes it away.
As now Glister, another grab along with the trance up for Dance. They have those strong support ults. They should be holding very close. You can see Wuyall calling for where they're going to be holding. You can see where he's shooting. Everyone just looking. They're going to try the, I don't know, it looks like potentially looking for this early grab.
Possibly. Early grab is going to be coming out here from Gen.G. Early focus fire works out, just smothering So What and Froppy immediately. And Gen.G, again, a new lease on life because of that team fight win at the brink.
And only having to use 1 ult as well for that cleanup, for that really aggressive hold. Glister so far forward, getting the spam damage, forcing MVP to actually rotate out the far doors because they don't want to take that spam damage.
He is thirsty to build another Graviton here, the best way it can be described, and they're holding so far forward right now.
I mean, they're going to back up now. They were just trying to get the spam. I mean, they could afford to, honestly, because they have that tank ult advantage along with the support ult. MVP still no value up for their tanks.
Oberon sitting here at the gate. You got to think he's looking for the early shatter. Going to get stunned instead. Bubble keeping him nice and healthy there. It's well timed coming in from Glister. Gen.G getting a little bit of poke damage back out. You look to the shield. Both Reinhardt shields getting pretty low. It might come down to a shatter moment. Early Transcendence coming here from Dance. It's so early, and MVP not really bothered. They don't have to pop anything in reaction, and now they can just use Transcendence of their own and overpower, especially when barrier is up.
However, Glister, another grab coming up very soon. There's the grab. Shadow out for Overwatch. Not a lot of value
Self-destruct
yet.
from Muyal, right to the back line. Not going to get anything this time. MVP, Transcendence up. Froppy getting the barrier.
Oh my goodness, Wakid lived.
Wakid is still alive. Here comes the barrier. MVP using the barrier, a huge health advantage, and they just easily collapse on the Oberon and Wakid. They take both out, and this time, Muyal is not here at the bomb to turn things around.
And that's just the power of bunny hopping those support ults. But most importantly, look at Dance. Another Transcendence up after just popping it early. If they can get out, they have time to contest. They must touch and set up Oberon and set up Wakid.
Well, the Transcendence a little bit late doesn't save Wakid, but both teams, down to Brigida, 5-on-5. Gen.G fighting for their lives here, and the Shatter, it might be enough. Both Reinhardt's out, but this is so good for the defenders. They get caught in the grab by MVP. MVP looking to come back in, going to get the DMAC. Here's the problem, though. Respawn's coming in from Gen.G, but it's probably not enough self-destruct there. Not a lot of room for Wakid to work with. Still
Wakid,
delay!
He's just running
That's
around.
so good delay! Buys enough time for the Ham to get back out. Now, it's about melting the hamster as he goes around, but Gen.G, more coming in. Glister has a grab. Can he turn this around? No, not quite.
They do get off the point, and that was really, really well played from all of Gen.G in that defense, but at the end, Rookie, he has that grab. Gen.G was chasing for the frags. They had all that health advantage, set off the Shadow from Oberon, Shadow from the Trance of Dance. And when you don't have any support ults, you drop the grab, that's going to be it.
Yeah, I think, truthfully, they could have held back a little bit there, where once you get the first two pickoffs, remember, it's on the other team to actually challenge you and push in the payload. Once you get one or two, yeah, okay, they could get a chance to recover, but you get your respawns back up. So I think there's a decent argument that maybe they got a little bit too
Gen.G, I think, got
there.
too aggressive. They were playing not split enough. They should have known Rookie was coming up on that grab. They weren't able to eat either. And so because of that, they lost 3 to the grab. And that was just the end of the push for them. That was the end of the defense. They just could not survive from there.
So we're moving in, changing sides. So it's going to be Gen.G on the attack, MVP on the defense. And yeah, this is sort of, we wish we could run this, but
this is tradition, though.
We're just going to
have to jump off the top of the icon wall.
But I mean, if you're going to just jump off the top with heroes you're not going to play anyways, at least throw in a Torb. I'm not saying I want to see Torbs thrown off castles or anything, but why not?
Very medieval of you.
Well, I mean, he is using wizardry at the times. Turrets that move on their own, it's witchcraft. Burn them.
Well,
throw them to the rocks.
Technically, Eichenwald is also filled with the lore of the Omnic conflict.
It is true.
So we're not in the medieval times, though.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a castle. You have to go along with
it. It's the juxtaposition of the old and new.
It is true.
That's the beauty of the map.
It's a lot of old and ruins here, though. People did not want to come back here, but we're getting into it in Gen.G. Not a huge surprise here for their offense. They're going with something off the beaten path. It's going to be Pharah Sombra.
And you can see Wakid and Fuse are going to be trying to set up behind, set up on the flanks, get plenty of poke damage, get them to force back towards the point and burn those cooldowns for MVP.
And already, MVP, this is the power of Pharah here, where what do you do when it's raining? You take shelter indoors, and at the moment, it's raining rockets.
They have to hide and give point presence here, and then just look for an engage on one of the tanks for Gen.G. That is MVP's entire game plan right now.
And it's a slow poke war going on, where Gen.G, they're herding them into the back, almost like cats, even though people don't really herd cats,
like
just a saying. Like cats, yes. But Wakid staying on top here, getting good poke damage, and they're going to get Valentine early. MVP just unable to get out of where they've been thrown into early. Gen.G with an advantage here from this Pharah, but they still have to finish off these last few people to get a full advantage.
Surviving here is so important. He pushed so aggressively to catch Dance. Dance is going to get the res. There's the barrage, but nothing up because there is the Transcendence from Finn.
That was a really awkward engage. They just kind of EMP because, okay, that's all we need, but that wasn't all they needed. It wasn't well coordinated at all, and now they don't have the EMP for a second attempt. Gen.G got absolutely sloppy there towards the end.
But also, not just that, Rookie.
Yeah.
Rookie made a huge play there by pushing with the high energy through that right house, picking off Dance, forcing the res, slowing down the play enough for Finn to get Trance.
And Gen.G, we're going to see some wholesale swap-ups here, going to a 3-3 of their own, but this is giving MVP a big edge and momentum of the fight, and even in the poke war right now, Glister just getting lit up.
And now Gen.G actually just making the swaps. They're not going to commit. They've committed that barrage so early. Trance and Barrier both traded for both teams. It's going to equalize.
So that's going to buy Gen.G a little bit of room here. MVP staying to the point. They're going to drop the grab early. Here comes the self-destruct right over the top. 2 already down. and
not even actually having to commit to
they didn't have to use it. It looked like it was going to.
They recognized that they recognized that Gen.G had no support ults up.
Yeah.
Fuse just made the fresh swap. Dance had used the trance, in the previous fight just right before. So then Rookie making the call, making sure to only use grab there. MVP cleaning up, and now they're in a really good position here.
It's only a minute 30 left for Gen.G, and this is a minute 30 left with a fight that is not in their favor at all. Going to be very difficult for them now.
I mean, their only hope is if they can get this trance out very early, maybe even with the bomb, with the grab, and set up Oberon.
Well, MVP holding down there, just able to collapse on the Glister. And again, look at MVP. They didn't have to invest much at all in there. They just only used the rally and out-rotated. This is really good for them now, and we're heading into the final minute.
Buying a solid 30 seconds, 40 seconds even off the clock here potentially before the next engage is going to happen. So MVP, really good awareness of them, really solid aggression. Neither Dance or Fuse still have either of their support ults, and Rookie about to have another grab.
Gen.G moving up here through the left. MVP holding far back. And they're just sort of daring Gen.G, saying, hey, you guys gotta come to the point at some point. They drop the grab early. Answer by Transcendence. Self-destruct moving up here from Wuyal. Is he going to do it again? Gets Jasper in the middle of it. He got him while Jasper was demeched with the self-destruct of his own. Man advantage for Gen.G. They isolate So What, and off that advantage, they just roll into them. They're gonna get the payload moving, but man, did it take them almost all of their time.
It did, and that was still getting one pick even. With Wuyal's bomb there was all they needed. Glister moving up very aggressively, catching Rookie as he's trying to run. Gen.G now, control first, moving through second, and they still kept the shadow. They still have a barrier. So moving to the next fight, they're in a really good position to set it up. They could trade barriers, put Oberon in a place where they pressured the shield enough, the opposing shield of So What, where he'll be in a great position to shatter.
I mean, it all comes down here, too, to, like, how is MVP going to engage this? And, okay, the answer is highly aggressively. They just jump down. They don't really...
The right play. You should always be fighting as early as possible with D3.
They don't waste a lot of time here, but also Glister's going to get a lot of damage from the back. No shields on that side. You look at Glister already building another 10% from that sort of end. Now he's back with his team, and... Look
at the shield presence onto So What. His barrier's so low, he has to swing. Gen.G needs to be moving forward, though. They're just giving it time to recharge.
And MVP... They're buying time here at the very least, but Gen.G, they're moving forward. They're looking for So What. Glister's still hanging on to the grab. Gonna drop the grab, picks up 3. Fall through not there. Glister gives up his life. He went really far to try and get that over. Couldn't get out of it in time. And now instead, it's MVP holding strong, and that's a huge loss for Gen.G.
Yeah, investing that grab, not getting much out of it. And also the Shatter getting completely countered. Only having to invest the rally, the barrier there. They're going to be having a combo of their own MVP very soon. They're holding so aggressively on the doors. No free space for Gen.G.
Not quite yet. Transcendence going to be used here by Gen.G. And oh, this is the worst case scenario for Gen.G. The darkest timeline. You use the Transcendence, you still lose 2 right away. MVP's aggression just catching them off guard. And they're going deeper, about as deep as you can go without going into the spot.
They've also traded the trances out there. Dance, using that trance there, trying to keep Gen.G alive, but the combo is up for MVP. They can look for the engage.
Yeah, they have Grav Bomb, they have Self-Destruct. Here comes the Grav, and Jasper holding on to it again. Doesn't go for the immediate Self-Destruct. Didn't think it was necessary. Gen.G gonna use the barrier, though, and MVP might dislike that they didn't use that there as Gen.G fights their way back in. They get 2, make it 3, and MVP can be punished a little bit for being so aggro.
That was a really good setup for MVP, but the barrier the bomb not being invested for Jasper. Like you said, they have to be kicking themselves because they were so low, their setup was so good, and all Fuse had to do was drop the beat, and now they can move forward. However, they've saved it for this upcoming fight. Maybe it was more of an ult eco play for them to get rid of that barrier, get rid of the ults for Gen.G, so MVP has a better fight later on.
Well, in terms of freestanding Diva Bombs, this are free-range Diva Bombs, let's call it that. This is one of the better areas. There's not as much area to use for cover, depending on where you're at, so maybe Jasper is looking for something along those lines. Gen.G, though, they are loaded for the next fight. Graviton going to be coming out here early. Wuyal, what is he going to do here? Self-destruct on the way. Is he going to get it? Gets 3! Wuyal doing what needs to be done here for Gen.G. It's a good setup. And if Jasper was waiting to use that bomb, he again waited too long.
And that was a great setup for Gen.G. They put out the bomb. Oberon makes sure to move the barriers. They've removed also all the Zarya bubbles will key. Drops the bash onto So What, so he cannot shield. All that in the process setting up for Wuyal's bomb.
Now we're moving in once more. MVP opening up at the rally. Transcendence in reserve. They can still fight this back here versus Gen.G. Gen.G gonna drop the Shatter. Oberon getting a whole lot of nothing with that here. MVP, meanwhile, holding on to the grab. Gonna drop the grab right in the middle. MVP going for Jasper. Self-destruct can connect. It works out. And that is going to be a hold at the very end for MVP, just when you think Gen.G was about to be bringing that back. Whew. And that's going to even up the series.
The boop's so integral there, keeping them off. I mean, there would have been like a 3-4K. You can see it right now on the. You can see it in this upcoming fight. Actually, this is a previous offense for MVP. This isn't even the.
That's not the replay that was prophesized.
It's not the boop I wanted. But the boop was really, really good.
Yes.
Even if we just see a second, we would have seen like 3 to 4 off the map, all environmental kills. But more importantly, it got Gen.G off the point.
Yeah. And, you know, that is the name of the game in the end, the objective.
It is.
Something that young Gen really got reintroduced to in recent times. But yes, the objective, very much important. And, again, we got ourselves a series.
We do. 1-1 now. Yeah. All tied up. Still 2 more maps to go. Potentially 3, depending on what happens.
Probably 3, knowing our luck. Because we're pulling double duty here today, guys. We're doing Contenders Korea here in the morning. Avast is going to have to drive home about 30-40 minutes after waiting for rush hour, sleep, and then come back. So, you know, it's a tough day for us, but we wouldn't have it any other way.
No, absolutely not. In fact, I want it to be as tough as possible.
Wow.
Come at me, life. What do you got?
You know, we were getting haunted earlier in the day. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot that life could throw at you, you know, but let's cool it down a little bit.
Nothing at all.
All right, guys. Well, while we contemplate just how unstoppable Avast is in his own mind, we're going to be taking a quick break. When we come back, the second half is going to be underway.